So right now we're on the Big Stick CVN-71 USS Theodore Roosevelt, the Nimitz class aircraft carrier, and there is a big problem. As you know, I'm going to be making a tutorial of how to build this. However, the old Minecraft Military Force Super Hornet is actually really old by Martacha, and I have since redone the design, but there is no tutorial for it, so I would need someone to commission it because it's such an essential part of the ship, but you know, it requires a commission, and I can show you how it looks like regular and then folded, and of course down here in the hangar bays where they have like the red tips and stuff. And if you commission it, I'll also show you how to make the EA-18G Growler, the electronic warfare aircraft. Also, if someone wants to commission the CMV-22 Osprey, that'll be really cool, as well as the C-2 Greyhound, because if you guys don't commission it, I'm not going to actually make a tutorial of it, because as you know, the Nimitz is going to be the last and final tutorial, and I'm just asking for $25 per aircraft. So it'll be 25 for this, 25 that, and then 25 Hornets. Yeah, hopefully someone will step up, at least for the Hornet. I think that badly needs a tutorial, but if you don't, I guess you can just download it from the Arsenal world, or just, you know, build it looking off the video. So if you guys are interested in commissioning it, you can send me an email at craftyfoxbusiness@gmail.com, or if you have any last minute commissions for, you know, anything else you want to do, because again, the Nimitz is the final tutorial. What I plan to do for this video is actually make it like 6 or like 9 hours. It's gonna be super long because I saw Lord Dagger, you know, do a really long video, so I think I should do that instead of having like many different parts and you have to wait for each part. So I'll just release everything all at once. Last video someone said, oh, the Nimitz is complete. Well, I guess 98%, I would say maybe like the last 2%. It's actually like very close to being complete. So a status update from the last time. Obviously you may have noticed I've added some more aircraft like this F-18. I'll probably add in a couple more on the deck. And then we have another E-2 Hawkeye. I believe this is like the D with the extra probe here on the top of it. And that's going to be for all of them because on the real aircraft carrier, that's what they're using. And yeah, some more stuff over here. I also upgraded the Tilly crane. So it's like a straight bar now and it sticks out. And then this is what it typically looks like on the aircraft carrier. And also in the back here, I did add in a little bit of changes detail here, just finish that up. And a little bit over here, and they have like this open window for some reason, I don't know. But I just added that, maybe I'll just delete this a little bit. A major thing I added is this LSO platform for the landing people, the crew. They look at this, like some screens, and then they help, you know, the aircraft land over here. They have like this blast wall or whatever for protection, and they have like this little net they jump into if like there is like a crash here and they need to escape. So it's like a little escape hatch. Go down here to like a safe place below the deck. Another thing I added is like the bubble room. This is what like the catapult control center is. So it's a little bit down there, and it sticks out when like this thing is taken off and it needs to go on the catapult. And we also have like this little door that opens up. And for this, I actually like made these hatches a little bit bigger because last time I figured out they're a little bit underscaled, figuring out stuff aligning. Basically the way I figured that out is because like some stuff was not aligning. I was like, what is going on? And I looked at Zytrix, and then his is actually bigger, so I did improve it and added some more alignments for these hatches, and there's like an extra hatch right there added. And then if we go in the bottom deck, I actually completed the interior, and man, let me tell you how crazy it was to actually build this. It was like the freaking Death Star, and then look at all these lines and pipes, and I don't even know if I'm doing it correctly, but I just do it anyways, just to add in lots of detail. And I finished out like the crane, like this rope mechanism or wires that goes to this thing. So I added that. And then, yeah, I finished up all this detail in there, moving things around, and I figured out like this thing was a bit too big before, so I cut it down. And then I made this part bigger actually, and all sorts of stuff. And then here's what it looks like right now. Lots of more detail in here. And everything's like in alignment now, so it's all correct. And I finished up like the roof, like especially these bars that go across. And then yeah, here's what this part looks like. So, and I did add in like the little wagon design, so the munitions. These are like the training missiles, and I finished up the doorways. adding in the tracks on top and everything, all the detail. And I also added, like, I started making all these little vehicles, like it carries the external fuel tank holders and this like elevator here. And then I made this, before it was actually larger, but then I figured out in the reference video it was a bit too long, like there's a little gap here, so I did make it shorter. So I learning stuff, just adding the interior of the build. Yeah, here's what it looks like so far. So you may have seen the YouTube short as well, and even after that short I filmed it, I did start adding a lot more things to it. Like I figured out, I thought it was complete, but it wasn't. There were still a couple of things missing, so I did, add that. But yeah, here's what the back looks like now. That's finally done. All these tiny vehicles, and it was such a pain to build all of this because some things was not lining up. Then I figured out it's because I need to like squish in the vehicles because it's Minecraft. There won't be like a huge gap in real life. It's very small. So in Minecraft, there is no gap at all. So everything stuck together. But I did finish up like all of this part here, and especially this back wall. I think Reflector, he came on and he told me like one of these elevators, they actually go up to the deck. So if you go up here, there actually is elevator shaft and it connects up to this part here, which I learned. So that is the reference point to the end of this hangar wall. And I also figured out like these are actually like the aircraft jacks. Before I thought it was like some kind of random tent, but it's actually two separate things. I also started working a bit more on like the elevator section on the outside part. All these parts I was working on yesterday, and these things that stick out. And I also learned like this thing is actually like a Nukem, I believe, or Nukill. It's actually Australian American, like a decoy missile for like anti-ship missiles. It started adding some more detail in here and started changing up the design of this part. So I had like these like little staircases. They're like everywhere on the ship. So if you go on this side, there actually is like another one here. I need to figure out all the alignments. So I was working on that as well. Here's like the new gun. I don't know if I showed you this before. And I did change up these little things so that they're bluish, and added a little bit more stuff down over here as well, railings and all that. But yeah, that's the update on the Nimitz class aircraft carrier. Hopefully on Arsenal update number or whatever the next one is, it's going to be complete. But again, I need someone to actually commission these tutorials for the Super Hornet, the Osprey, and the C-2 Greyhound if someone wants to, but no one does it. I guess you could just use the old FA-18, although it's bit outdated. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on with me in this journey. It's been over a year and the Nimitz is still not done, but it's like very, very close. The next video I upload, hopefully it's gonna be done. See you later. Bye.